saved the day again. Why don't we go back to her secret lair? I'm done with you, Buffy. I think I'm going to move to Los Angeles and then maybe become an FBI agent or maybe try my hand at a Navy SEAL. Oh, Angel. Oh, hello there. I didn't see you there. Welcome to Windy City Meeples. I'm your host, Shane Gordon, and today we're going to talk about the 2 to 4 player game, Unmatched, Buffy the Vampire Slayer Edition, by Rob Davio and Justin Jacobson, published by Mondo Games and Restoration Games. So let's have a look at the board and see what you get in this nice little package. It's a duel game. It can be played basically one-on-one, or you can play teams of 2, and there is a variation for 3 players. But basically you are going to start the game with the hero of your choice and sidekick. So you have Willow here, who comes with girlfriend Tara, and you got Spike, comes with girlfriend Drusilla. Then you got Angel with his protege Faith that he saves later on in the series. And you got Buffy, and Buffy has a unique thing. She can either have Xander or Giles as her sidekick. Depending on who you choose, you put their sidekick cards into her deck. So in Unmatched, you have a deck of 30 cards to battle it out with your opponent. All you get is 30 cards. Once you run out, you start taking damage. So it's kind of like if you ever played Gloomhaven, the cards are kind of your energy, and you run out, you're exhausted, and you start getting hurt. So to start a game, we'll just do a 2-player game here. I'll pick Willow because she's the only ranged character in this game, so we'll get to see how that plays. And I'll pick Buffy just because she has the different choice of sidekick. And she has another ability that in the other Unmatched series nobody has, and that is she can actually move through opponents. So we're going to put Willow first because we'll just say she's younger than Buffy and it's the youngest player that goes first. So you find on the board, which I will point out here, like all Unmatched games, is double-sided. We'll show you that it's the Sunnydale High School here, all in its bright colors. And then you get a little darker because I usually hang out at the Bronze at night. And that's what this is the Bronze. You got a mausoleum and a graveyard. So we'll go with the Bronze side. So since we're choosing Willow to go first, you find the spot marked 1. You place her on there. Then her sidekick goes in any spot in the same zone as her. So zones are marked by the color of the circles. You have, like you see here, this green kind of grass. You got kind of like a dark green. You got an orange here, purple, and a red. So because Willow's starting spot is the kind of green grass and red, Tara can start off in any of these spots that share that. We're going to keep her close to Willow, which we'll explain in a minute why. So we'll just put her there. Buffy, being number 2, finds the 2-player spot, which is right here, which is orange and blue. It's kind of on the catwalk in the Bronze, so we'll put her there. We will choose Xander to be her sidekick in this game. So we will put him close to her as well, because some of his cards are important with where he is in relation to Buffy. So we'll move these other characters off. I will point out that each character and the art in this game is just gorgeous, and they keep a theme to it. Like if you notice here, Spike's got the red bottom on his minifigure, and Drusilla's kind of got a red and purple token, and all of his art here is kind of the red and blue, dark blue, purplish on the back, and all the cards in his deck here, you'll see will have the same kind of thematic colors. And they do that for everybody, which is just, I found a nice touch. It really kind of keeps the cohesiveness of your heroes. So, like I said, we'll move these out of the way. Goodbye, Angel. Enjoy being a Navy SEAL. So for Buffy, you're going to have her dial, her health dial. You put it there. And because we chose Xander. Their dial is double-sided for their health, so we'll go in on the Xander side and put it there. Same with Willow over here. We got her dial and then Tara's dial. Willow also has another token here. It starts on the Willow side, but if at any point in the turn Willow or Tara takes damage, it flips to the Dark Willow, which is a little bit more powerful, but can burn through your cards a little bit more. So the way to turn back to normal Willow is either through a card action or ending your turn at a spot next to Willow on the board. If they're side by side adjacent, you can flip the Dark Willow back to Willow. So she's starting as Willow. And Buffy, since we chose Xander, we go through her deck and we pull out all the Giles cards. So there's 5 Giles cards. We pull them out and set them to the side. And the other 5 are for Xander. The reason it's important for Xander to be near Buffy, is he has a card, not this one, but the right-hand man card. So if he, during combat, is adjacent to Buffy, instead of doing the 2 on this card for damage or defense, it's a 6. So it's one of the more powerful damage defense cards in the game, exclusive to Xander, but it has conditions to be met. So we'll shuffle this up. Just give it a quick shuffle. Throw it here. And also you're going to have your card here that tells you who you have, starting life, sidekick, their starting life, movement points, and then whatever special abilities. Buffy's special ability, which is I think a first in the Unmatched series, is that she can move through opponent characters. Normally you cannot move through them. They basically block your way. But Buffy can actually move through opposing characters, which is a good advantage to her when she's a melee player and trying to get in and getting close. And sometimes she gets boxed in and just wants to get out, and it's nice for that ability. So you got that here. Gonna throw that down. Then we'll shuffle up Willow's. She also has the same thing. She has a move of 2. They show that she's ranged, and Tara and Willow are both ranged. And so here is what I was telling you about with the Dark Willow. Whenever Willow or Tara is dealt damage, Willow becomes Dark Willow. At the end of your turn, if Dark Willow is adjacent to Tara, she becomes Willow again. And we'll show you why that's important in some of her cards here too. So we'll give that a quick shuffle up as well, and we'll kind of go through a couple turns here to kind of show you how this game plays. I haven't played it as a 3 or 4 player yet. I've only played as a 2 player, and it's, I would say, a lightweight dueling game, but I find it very enjoyable, and it can be as strategic as you want. And the fact that I've lost both games shows that I don't really know what I'm doing. So we've chosen Willow to go first. So she draws her starting hand of 5. And then Buffy will get her starting hand of 5 as well. So then, on your turn, you have, I believe it's 3 actions. I'll double check, but yes, I was right. You can maneuver. So maneuvering is when you draw a card, which you must draw the card. Anytime in this game that you have to draw a card, you must do it. It's not an option. You just draw the card, and if you cannot draw the card, immediately take 2 damage to both of your fighters on the board. So we got Willow's turn. We're too far away right now from Buffy and them to do an attack, so we're going to maneuver. When you maneuver, you can discard a card from your hand, which I'll have a quick look, and we don't really need to, but let's just say we wanted to. We could discard this card here, and we add that boost value to our movement. So we have a movement of 2, but that would give us 3 if we were to discard that. We're not going to, because I think we're able to do what we want to do here. So if we move twice, both characters can move up to 2 spaces. Willow, I can move 2 into here. And Tara, I want to keep her close, so I'm going to move her there. So that's our first action. I see we have a visitor here. That's our cat, Saxon. He likes to be around, so if you watch our videos, you'll probably get to know a lot of them and see a lot of them. Right, Saxon? Right, boy, right? So we moved where Willow and Tara. So that's our first action. We have to take 2. The second action, we can play a scheme card, which we don't have in our hand right now, but I will show you what one would look like. It would have a yellow lightning bolt, and you could play that as an action and do whatever it says. So for this one, Love and Loss, you draw 2 cards. So you can just fill up your hand some more. But if you're Dark Willow at the time, you also have to discard the top 2 cards of your deck into your discard pile and deal 3 damage to a sidekick in your zone. And if the only sidekick in your zone is yours, you deal 3 damage to your own. So she's kind of powerful, but you're going to see like she's digging through cards. That 3 power or damage to a sidekick is great upside, but you're burning through cards when you only have 30 cards in your deck. It kind of you don't want to be doing that a lot because you'll end up running out and being in trouble. So when you're playing an attack, which is what we're going to do, that's the third action you can do, we can attack. So because Willow and Tara are ranged, they can attack anyone that is in their zone. So Tara's on the green, there is no one in her zone, but Willow's here on purple, so she can actually attack Xander or Buffy. So when you do that, we will look, and you'll look at your cards. There'll be cards like this that are strictly for damage. So that's 3 damage and can be used by any character, whether it's your sidekick or a hero. Here is a defensive or attack card, but only can be used by Willow. And that's what I have in my hand right now. There also are cards exclusive to Tara. So this is a Tara card that is 4 damage or 4 defense. Only can be used by Tara. And there also, Willow does have herself some solely defense cards. 5 defense, only can be used by Willow. So when you choose the attack and the card you're going to attack with, it has to be either an any card or matching the hero or sidekick you're attacking with. So we're going to choose Willow to attack, and we're going to pick a card. So you pick a card, play it face down. Your opponent, at the same time, will be looking through their hand to look at what they can to defend. We'll pick a card. With her, we're going to use her defense card because we are attacking Buffy. So she can use the defense card, and we'll use this one. So basically, you both will lay them down, and at the same time, you will flip them over to reveal what you've done. This board's a little wobbly here. But first, when you do this, any immediate effects will take place. Right now, neither of these cards have immediate effects. So then it'll go to damage and during combat effects. Neither of these have during combat effects. So then we got 3 damage and versus 2 defense. So Willow gets 1 point of damage through. So Buffy, you take her dial and you turn her from 14 down to 13. She took a little hit from Willow. After combat, you always, actually all these cards, if there's a tie in timing for how it plays out, since these are both after combat, defending player plays out first. So Buffy's Cartwheel Kick will activate, so she may move Buffy, or you may move Buffy up to 3 spaces, then deal 1 damage to each opponent that is adjacent to her. So Buffy could go, because she can move through, well, you can always move through your sidekicks. I didn't mention that. You can always move through your sidekicks, but Buffy has the ability to move through enemies as well. So you go 1, 2, 3. Now, if you look at that, it looks like they're all adjacent, but there is no line connecting Tara to Buffy, so only Willow's adjacent. So then Willow would take 1 damage, turning her into Dark Willow. So Buffy's done, so we throw her card in her discard pile. Now we finished Willow's card, which is the rending shot. So after a combat, you may move the opposing fighter up to 3 spots. So we are going to do that because we don't want Buffy near us. Buffy's bad that way. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Just kind of kick her away for us. And that is Willow and Tara's turn. Because Willow and Tara are adjacent, Willow will now turn back to good Willow. And we pass our turn to Buffy. So now Buffy's like, well, what do I want to do here? So obviously, I just realized I must have drawn 1 too many for Buffy. So we'll just say she's maneuvered to draw a card. And she can move up to 3 spaces. So we're actually going to come back in, I believe. So we're going to move her 1, 2. Because we don't have to use the full movement. But she can move up to 3. And we're going to move Xander 1, 2. Now we can attack. So I'm going to say, let's have Xander attack. Xander's going to attack Willow. So I'm going to pick a card for Xander. I'm going to look at Willow's hand and see what she's got. And so she's going to pick a card. Now we reveal them. And Xander's playing Military Knowledge, which is 4 damage attack. And Willow's played Regroup, which is either attack or damage or defend card for 1. So nothing again is immediate, nothing is during combat. So we go to combat. Xander does 3 damage to Willow. She drops to 10, becomes Dark Willow. Now she's defending, so her card will activate first. And it says after combat, draw a card. If you won the combat, draw 2 instead. Well, she did not win the combat because she took damage. If she had taken 0 damage, that would be considered her winning the combat as a defensive player. But she didn't, so we just draw 1. Now Xander's comes to play, and it says, after combat, draw 1 card. So we'll do that. And that is Buffy and Xander's turn. They've kind of put themselves in range, but Buffy fights up close anyways. And the game will continue like that for as many rounds as it takes until you knock down the opposing opponent's hero. Sidekicks don't matter. Sidekick can still on the board, but if your hero ever hits 0, game over. Ends immediately. Sidekicks can disappear. That's fine. They can go away. Actually, Willow has the ability to resurrect, so she can bring back basically Tara normally, but if you're playing in a team game, she might be able to bring back her teammate's sidekick if they've been defeated as well. So that's basically the gameplay in a nutshell. Any Unmatched game can be mixed and matched. So the original set had Sinbad, Medusa, King Arthur, and I believe it was Alice in Wonderland. And so those guys, you can bring them in here and they can fight Buffy and Angel and Spike and Drew and Willow. Or there's Little Red Riding Hood versus Beowulf, I believe. And there's a solo one, Bruce Lee, which is just a solo guy you can bring into any of the games. He actually is, I think, the only one that isn't playable by itself. All of them at least usually have 2 to 4 heroes for you to play as. There's another one that has Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Dracula and the Invisible Man. I believe it's called Cobble and Fog. That looks really interesting. It actually has on the board some secret passages to move you around even quicker to areas and sneakily to get away from combat. I think they also had Robin Hood and Bigfoot. It's kind of a mismatch in my opinion, but it's fun. And so yeah, any one of these games will come with a double-sided board and everything you need to play except for the Bruce Lee, like I said. And if you like the series, you can just get them all in mix match and just have these great cool fantasy battles. Or if like us, We bought this one because we're fans of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I haven't found a Buffy game that I've enjoyed. This one actually kind of fits that niche. It's quick, it's polished, it plays really smoothly, and there is a depth of strategy that will keep me engaged. I enjoy it. I think anyone should check it out if you like combat games. It's fairly easy to jump into, but I think it's one of those ones that will be hard to master. I'm a Magic player. I thought I'd be able to hand management and do things well, and in this actually matchup, my wife destroyed me as Buffy when I was Willow. And when she was Angel, or when she was Spike, she also destroyed me when I was Angel and Faith. So, like I said, it's easy to pick up and learn. There's only 3 actions per turn. It'd be easy to teach. Kind of I would say, a gateway game into skirmishing and dueling battles. You can get into some heavier ones down the road, but this is a nice light one. It's colorful, it's beautiful. Rob Davio, from the stuff that I've played of his, always seems to have a nice polished game system. The one thing I also want to bring up about this game, and this is one of my pet peeves with a lot of games, but not a pet peeve here, but this insert that comes in this game is a godsend for gamers. If you look at it, it is beautifully laid out and everything has its place. I mean, I know this is a fanboy kind of moment here, but a really good insert is really key to keeping your games good, organized, easy to set up, easy to take down. And this one to me is the gold standard of inserts that I've seen so far. You've got an easy slot for each one of your fighters that are fairly easy to tell where they go. That's great. Now if you look, you got your dial. So for Willow, it's even labeled who is where. Willow, throw in her Terra dial. Even has a spot to nicely fit that in. Throw that in. Spike has these little shadow tokens. They have a nice spot at the bottom here. Before you put in the Drew dial. All your sidekicks easily put where they belong. So you got, oops, sorry, Buffy, Faith, and Angel. Put Drew there. Then you just grab their cards. And they're sleeved, so I sleeved them so they still fit beautifully in here. You got Angel's cards. You got Spike's. Then you got the Giles cards for Buffy. Xander and Buffy's cards here. Oops, I like to put it like that. Put it in. Beautiful. Flip the board. Right on top. Rulebook. Nice, beautifully simple rulebook. And then the box top. Everything's in there perfect. Nice. Ready to come out and play again. Super simple. I know it's a little quirk, but most gamers really appreciate a good insert. So that's Unmatched Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I hope you found this helpful. If you do, like, leave a comment, subscribe.